After years of studying and researching, Caterpillar has produced a new range, a new generation of the excavators with a new technology that able to reduce the fuel consumption and the maintenance cost while maintaining a high production levels. Today we have one of this generation, 330GC, behind me, and we are going to discuss in detail what happened actually. When we say GC, we mean the standard machine which replaced the D2L series. The first thing to talk about here is the buckets, and actually our Caterpillar buckets work tools as well is completely different when we compare it to any other work tools at any competition machine. Because, for example, this bucket is 1.8 cubic meter capacity, and if we can notice this, the lengthened floor of the bucket, it helps us in two things. The first thing, it will give the machine more penetration force, so the machine can penetrate inside the material to when it comes to the cut. The other thing is it will enable the bucket to be loaded up to 1.1% of the bucket capacity. If we say that this bucket is 2 cubic meters, so actually the machine can the one bucket can be carry up to 2.2 cubic meters, which help us in improving the productivity of the machine over any competition. When we talk about the stake and the boom, we also improving these parts in terms of material itself. Here we can see these welding marks on the boom. There are 3 welding marks, and these 3 welding marks it represents 3 buffle plates. These buffle plates is installed in the boom from internally in the boom and welded from the 4 side section to give them the boom and the stake more power, and it makes the boom and the stake more stronger and maximize the lifetime of the boom and the stake. Something else we would like to mention regarding to the GET here, the ground engagement tool, which is the material itself of the ground engagement tool has been improved to enable this GET of living for a longer lifetime, around 30% compared with the old model. Also, this GET has been, we call it a hammerless GET, which we don't need anymore for hammering in the process of installing and disassembly and assembly of the GE2, which make it easier and reducing the maintenance time spending the machine at the site. 330GC excavators comes with a heavy-duty undercarriage. This heavy-duty undercarriage has an advantage of a longer lifetime in the tough applications, and also when we talk about the linkage here and the area contact, the contact area between the linkage and the shoe, it becomes wider and becomes a wider area. It helps the machine in better stability and give us a better ground pressure. We can also see in this machine that we starting to using the non-metallic fuel tank. This is not a plastic, this is some special kind of the fiber. We call it non-metallic fuel tank. When we compare it with the old version or with any competitor at the market, you know, this metallic fuel tank, it used to have some water or moisture in the fuel or from the atmosphere, which causes some corrosions inside the tank, and this corrosion even it's damaged the fuel filter, and it can pass the fuel filter to the injectors and can destroy our injectors earlier. So it shortens the lifetime of the fuel system generally. But with this non-metallic fuel tank, we cannot have any corrosion in the fuel, so we can avoid all these problems. Something else we can mention about this tank, the non-metallic fuel tank enable us to use every single space, every small space inside the machine itself and it helps us to maximize the capacity of the fuel tank. This fuel tank actually has around 500 liter capacity, and this is a very good improvement comparing with the old models. As mentioned before, we have done a lot of improvement on this machine to reduce the fuel consumption and reduce the maintenance cost. When we're talking about reducing the fuel consumption, we will mention the engine modes and what is the difference between the smart mode and the power modes. We are going to talk about the electric cooling fans. We are going to talk about the hydraulic pumps and the electro-hydro control system. All these improvements or all these changes in the system has helped us to reduce the fuel consumption. When we talk about the maintenance cost, we mean the filters and how many filters in this machine, this system, and what is the intervals for this system. Pilot system, when we moved out the pilot system of this machine, and the downtime as well. Now, let's see what is the improvement in this machine. Now we're going to talk about the advantage and the improvement that enabled us to reduce the fuel consumption of this machine. When we talk about the fuel consumption, the first thing we talk is the engine modes. And the engine mode, we mean in this machine we have the power mode and we have the smart mode. The power mode is we ask the engine for 10 RPM, so that's it. It's a high idle or the maximum power we ask from the machine, and we use it in the heavy application. In the smart mode, let's imagine if the operator working and loading the trucks, then he has a wait time, and the operator just leaves the levers and he didn't ask for any hydraulic flow to come out from the air from the pumps. So the machine will sense this and will reduce the RPM of the engine. Reducing the RPM of the engine in this small time saves too much fuel when we take it over the day and over the month. The second thing that helped us to improve the fuel consumption is the hydraulic pumps. When we talk about these hydraulic pumps and compare it with the old versions or even with all competition machine, in the past we used to have two hydraulic pumps side by side. They just like this. And these two hydraulic pumps, which was installed side by side, they take the drive from a gear from the center. This gear just rotating and contacting with the drive shafts of the pumps, causing a lot of contaminants and a lot of debris that comes due to the contact, the metal contact happens. This debris and these contaminants forced us to install something we call it the case drain filter. This case drain filter is just to filter this oil, return oil before coming back to the tank. But now with this new machine, we have the two pumps is, number one, they are back to back. Back to back is like this, taking the drive from the center, only one shaft to drive them from the center, from the engine. The second thing is these two pumps is larger pumps when we talk about the linear movement, the linear stroke of the pump piston. The linear stroke of the piston enable us to pull or to suck too much oil in the same rotation, in the same rotation, and this actually helped us to produce a higher flow at the same RPM. So in the old machine, to take a specific power, hydraulic power from this engine, we have to run at a specific RPM. In the new machine, this same hydraulic power, we can produce it in a lower power consumed from the engine, and this helped us to reduce the fuel consumption from the engine. We also has improved the hydraulic control system. Now we are using the electro-hydro control system instead of the pilot control system. So what is pilot control system and what is electro-hydro control system? The main control valves that direct the engine to the boom and the stake and the work tool and everything of this. How we control these valves? In the past, we used to have a complete system. We call it a pilot system, consists of a pump and the filter and the lines. These lines, this pump sends a pilot signal. This pilot oil signals goes to the cabin, directly to the operator, the levers that operator control. Then the operator will redirect this signal to the main valve for the boom, for the sec, or whatever. This means too long hoses, too much hoses is using in the machine. If we has any something like a leakage or something, it will cost us a lot of downtime to fix this issue in the machine. This is one. The two is all this, I'm not going to say complicated system, but all this system we have rolled it out, and we has used instead the electro-hydro control system. What is electro-hydro control system? We just taken off the pump, the lines and everything, and we used a reducing valve. This reducing valves give us the small signal of the pilot oil, and we control this signal by electrical signal. So the operator in the cabin, when he's using now the levers, he's just sending electrical signal to the main control valves to allow the pilot oil to take the main oil to the boom and the stake and the work tool and blah blah blah. This helps us that one, we moved out the pump, so we reduced the power consumed from the engines. This is one. And two is we have take off or ruled out the pilot filter, and the pilot filter and the case filter before. This will help us to reduce the maintenance cost that we are going to discuss it in details. Now we are going to talk about the electric cooling fan used in the new generation of excavators. Electric cooling fan helped us to reduce the fuel consumption. We can see here that this cooling fan is not connected to the engine with the belts or with the hydraulic pump and hydraulic motor as we used to have in the past. This cooling fan is completely electric driven, so we don't consume any power from the engine. Consuming power from the engine means a fuel consumption. So no power consumed, so no fuel consumes. This helps us to reduce the fuel consumption from the engine. One more advantage in this electric control fan is now we have a standard advantage, which is the fan direction. And when we reverse the fan direction, it helps us to push the air to outside, and pushing the air will help us to clean all the radiators of the machine, and this prevent the heat buildup for the engine system and the hydraulic system, and also it will help us to increase the lifetime of the radiators. In the new excavators, we have increased the swing torque by around 5% comparing to the old excavators. And actually that was because we have improved the swing pressure. It used to be around 3,980 psi, and now it becomes around 4,320 psi. It means increasing around 5% comparing with the old machines. When we talk about the maintenance cost and how we reduced the maintenance cost in these new excavators, as we mentioned before, we don't have a pilot oil, we don't have a case drain oil, and we have here only the main return filter for the hydraulic system. In the other machines or in the other excavators, we usually change the pilot oil and the case drain oil at 500 hours operating hours, and the main filters we change it at 2000 hours. So this machine we have only one hydraulic oil filter, and this hydraulic oil filter is changed at 3000 hours. So with the simple calculations, when we say at 3000 hours, with the new excavators we change only one hydraulic filter, and with the other excavators we change around 13 hydraulic filters. So this is a big advantage when we talk about in terms of operating cost. The operator in the morning, when he do perform the walk around, he don't need to go up to the engine to check the oil level. because he has here, this is dipstick, it's for engine oil check. And also we have here the engine oil filter, so it's easy access from the ground position, and this is very, very important for the safety. We have also here the fuel filters, and it's reachable from the ground position as well. And these fuel filters has been improved in terms of the internal design, because we have enlarged the space of the area contact between the fuel and the filter paper itself, which helped us to enable us for a better filtration. Something else in the fuel filters, we have discussed a lot of uses to reduce the fuel consumption. So when we reduce the fuel consumption, it means reducing the need for the filtration. So when we reduce the need for the filtration, it means extend the lifetime of the filter. I'm not gonna say that we can change this fuel filter at 1000 hours or at 500 hours or whatever. I'm saying that we have duplicated the lifetime or the intervals of the fuel filters at your site. So if you used to change your fuel filters at 200 hours, now you can change these filters at 400 hours. When we talk about the advantage of the air filter on this machine, we will find the air filter has different design comparing with the old machine. It's easy to be removed and installed on the machine using these clamps and just pushing this. This is what we call the pre-cleaner, and we will talk about it later. And this is the primary fuel, the primary air filter, and this is the secondary air filter. Different shape, different design, enable us to have a better filtration to the air and maximizing the lifetime. For the pre-cleaner, which is standard on this machine, if we see this pre-cleaner, it consists of two parts. These two parts, it has something like a turbine. The air comes from here and go and start to rotate. When the air do this rotation, it pulls the contaminants and the dust outside, and the clean air, we take it from the tubes directly to the filter. And this helped us to improve the lifetime of the air filter. One more thing to mention here, we were talking about the fuel consumption, reducing the fuel consumption. When we reduce the fuel consumption, it means we reduce the air needed to burn the fuel. When we reduce the air needed to burn the fuel, it means we reduce the need for the filtration, and this helps us to improve the lifetime of the air filter. One of the big advantage which related to the safety is the operator visibility inside the cabin. In the past, with the old machine or with any other machine, any other excavator in the market, we don't have any eye-to-eye contact from this position to the operator, because of the design of the old machine, was a blind position to the operator. But now with this new design of the fuel tank, it enables us to have eye-to-eye contact for the operator from this position. So the operator, when he's staying in the seat, he has a very good visibility to the right-hand side position. From the first look to this machine, we can notice that the toolbox open door is changed and came to the side instead of being in the front. And this enables the operator to store any tools here in this area, this wide area, and also he has an access from the ground level, and this improves the safety of the site. Something else we can talk about it is when we have this non-metallic fuel tank, it becomes easier for us to the deformation process in the tank, which enable us to change the access point from this side to this side, which can enable the operator to apply the 3 points of contact when he's going up going up to the engine. This was a very important element of this was very important safety element. Another advantage in these excavators, which is the rear camera, and the rear camera is a standard configuration in all the new generation of the excavators. And this camera has the better visibility, which is enable the operator to see myself from this position inside the cab. So it's a very good advantage in the machine, which is improving the safety features on these machines. Now we are going to talk about the cabin of the new generation of these excavators. And the first thing we can note in this machine that the wide size of the glass in this machine, which helps the operator and gives the operator a better visibility. With the assist of the rear camera, we can say that the visibility on this machine for the operator can reach up to 360 degrees of visibility. Something else, this cabin is made from the ropes cabin, and ropes cabin can save the operator life in just in case if falling any heavy objects on the machine or something like this. Let's see inside the cabin. Now we are going to discuss the new generation from inside the cabin. What is the features, what is the advantage in the cabin. First of all, if you can see here now, we have this unmatched visibility inside this cabin. So this wide area of glasses enable the operator to see everywhere around him with the help of the rear camera. So as we mentioned before, the visibility can reach 360 degrees. Then when we on the seat on this machine, we can see all switches, all controls, and this monitor. The machine, when we don't have any more key to open to start the machine, we just has a ring, direct swing the ring, and the monitor will start to wake up and say, hello, who are you? So now this machine can start with a certain or authorized operators. And for myself as an owner of this machine, I can say this is an operator, I certify him, or I give him the authorization to, I give him the access to operate this machine. We have two kinds of operators. One, we call him the master operator, and the second, we call him the standard operator. The master operator, I can name him the owner of the machine, the site manager, or whatever. So this master operator, he has the authority to add or delete any other operators. He can hire another operator, so he give him a profile on the machine with his access code or access password. He put the access password so the machine will be can start with him. I have a code to this machine, which is yes, this code. I start the machine said, hello, you are operator 1 and you are a master operator. This M here is a master operator, and it's telling me that engine start is allowed, as we can see here on the machine. So at this position we can start the machine. The monitor shows all the needed informations like the service hour meters and the walk tool and all gauges and messages that need to be sent to the operator. After that, we need to start the engine. Start the engine by push the button down and hold, and also we can stop the engine by pressing again. So push to start and push to stop. Okay, once we start the engine, this machine has something we call it auto warm-up. Auto warm-up, that machine will start to warm the system, to warm the hydraulic system and everything, all the systems, to warm it up to be ready to the work. We can control this degree, and everything, this information is described in details when we deliver the machine to the customer in the operator training sessions. Okay, so now how can we add the operator, how can we delete the operator from this machine? If you can see here from the main button, we have settings, and okay, we have operator setting, Then we go to manage operator. What is manage operator? Here from the bottom, manage operator, because I am a master operator, I can see manage operator. So I can add operator or I can delete any operator from this machine. Okay, so this is the first advantage. The other one, let's see here, settings, okay, and the information. What is the information? In the information here we have the diagnostics and we have the current totals. The current totals, actually the diagnostics is if you have any problem, electric problem or something, the machine can tell us what is the issue. Okay, and the current totals, this is actually very important, because in the current totals we can see here the total operating hours of the machine and the total operating hour of the engine. So it has 10.5 hour operating, 10.5 hour we just rotating the key and we never start the engine, but we have actually 10 hours of starting the engine, 10 hours of starting the hydraulic pumps, and 2 hours, only 2 hours in travel motor. 0 hour for swing doesn't mean we didn't make any swing. We already made some swings, but it didn't reach 1 hour yet, so it didn't count with us. All this information is indication for the operation of the parts, but what are we focusing more is the total fuel. The total fuel is the machine counting the total fuel that consumed by the engine. So I can make like a daily calculations or weekly calculations. We can take this and we can actually calculate the actual fuel consumption of the machine. We have also something very important, which is the total idling time, because some operators inside just starting the machine, starting the air condition, and they are not working with the machine or doing anything, so it counts idling. Idling is operating the machine for nothing, consuming fuel for nothing. So I can have these readings, and with these results, with these ratios, we can see if it's within range or not. So this is a very big advantage for the customer. He can control his fuel consumption. He can actually track his fuel consumption of different operators. Something else is very important, which is the reverse fan. What is reverse fan? We talked about the electric control cooling fans, and this electric control cooling fan, we can reverse the direction to clean all the radiator. How we do it from the monitor, as we can see here, from machine settings and reverse fan, we can do it even manually. Manually means we are saying please reverse the direction now. And for the auto reverse, we can set it to reverse the direction every 2 hours, 3 hours, 1 hour. Actually, I don't like to do anything with this machine in the VDI or before deliver the machine to the customer, because we refer this to the site conditions at customer site. The last thing that we need to talk about is some customers are very afraid of the new technology and the electric system. They might say we cannot do diagnostics or something like this. We will still keep running with the dealer to send us his engineers or ET and so on and so on. With the new technology of the NGHs, we have an integrated ET inside this monitor. It can tell us what is the code, what is the diagnostics in the machine, and when we fix this code or fix this electric part, we can do any kind of calibrations, we can do any kind of even the flushing the ECMs, putting any software, we can do it by having the software on a dipstick and put the dipstick in this port, and we can flash the machine. When flash, calibration, everything, we can do it very easily with no need from help from any others. Thank you.